So hi everybody, welcome to today's webinar, NBS Digital Construction Report 2025. Today's webinar will be around 45 minutes, 50 minutes I think. All attendees' microphones are muted, but please put your feedback, your questions in the question box on the screen and we'll follow them up after the session. My name is Stephen Hamil, I'm Innovation Director here at NBS and I'm joined today by Emmy. Hi Emmy.
Hi all. Hi Stephen.
And Emmy's Technical Specification Manager at SideRise. So yeah, our NBS Digital Construction Report 2025, looking at a sort of digital future. We'll have a look at those industry findings. I then want to maybe say a little bit and show some examples in terms of the rise of AI as well. And then we'll pass across to Emmy. So the NBS Digital Construction Report 2025, we had around 550 respondents, which is fantastic. Sort of split between building designers, so architects, structural engineers, manufacturers, contractors, the majority of which sort of practice in the United Kingdom. The average age in that sort of 35 to 44 category, slightly younger than me now, but yeah, that's the sort of distribution. In one form or another, this is the 15th year of our survey. It used to be branded the NBS BIM report, but yeah, in its 15th year looking at sort of digital in the UK construction industry. So going back, that's what it looked like. I think we predominantly published that as paper copies for conferences as well, back in 2011. And looking at the trends just over those 15 years, when we first did this report, the key question was like, are you aware of BIM? And almost half of the people that did the survey sort of were saying that we're neither aware or using BIM. Some of the sort of quotes from back then, like I've heard of it, but can't really remember what it means. To other people saying that building information modeling is a putting together 3D model that represents the building for analysis type of tools. So it's interesting just looking back to where things were 15 years ago. I think understanding of sort of BIM aspects of digital has evolved, and the majority now see it as that process of gathering well-structured digital information through the project timeline based on clients' sort of information requirements. And I guess we've gone through a journey from the UK 1192 standards through to the international ISO 19650 series there. So when we ask now in 2025, 15 years on, how would you describe BIM, like following those, the process in the 19650 standards comes out highest, but it is better information management. Like building information modeling is modeling the building or the asset, if you like, with like a 3D data with information attached, etc. But it's quite interesting looking how the understanding of BIM, the definition of BIM has changed over 15 years. And in terms of those adoption rates from self-declaration, have you adopted BIM? We've seen it move from that sort of 10% up to mid 70% over the 15 years. It's quite interesting. Just looking at the BIM object sort of thing, the sort of encapsulating data in an object. We started by asking manufacturers, do you provide BIM objects for the materials, product systems that you supply? We had about 20% of manufacturers saying for all products, in the mid 70s for either all or some. And then you compare that with the sort of demand side, asking architects and engineers, is it useful to get this information from manufacturers? And it's similar, that sort of supply versus demand, maybe slightly higher. So the regularly or occasionally comes up to near 90% here, whereas sort of like 70, 75 on this side. And in terms of the basic data structure to classify information, whether it's the design of a building or an asset or the whole project in terms of classification for the documentation or project management or spaces, that BIM ecosystem on a project in the UK, we see now in 2025 as a uniclass being the predominant classification system. I think if you take a step back and just look at specifications, we know from the NBS Chorus platform, it's still reasonably split. We've got very loyal customer base for common arrangement of work sections as well as uniclass. But in terms of if you take a step back onto the common data environment and look at across all of the information requirements, I think uniclass seems to be that primary classification on most projects there, most BIM projects in the UK. The overarching trend, like that sort of exploded in the last 2 or 3 years that we've seen in our digital construction reports, is without doubt artificial intelligence. So you've got that big number there of 42% currently saying we are using artificial intelligence in our organization on our projects. And I say that's huge because we look back to the previous report and the previous report before that, and we've seen it jump from 10% to 20% to now 40%. And that survey was from 3 or 4 months ago. I wouldn't be surprised now if that's sort of getting closer to the 50%. So if there's one take home from the report this year, it's that sort of big jump over the last 2 or 3 years in artificial intelligence being something that people are aware of, or maybe just sort of playing with, to something people are actually using as a day-to-day tool now in UK construction. In terms of the sort of primary workflows, like what are you using AI for? It's, I guess, taking away those sort of more monotonous tasks with well-structured data and making them quick. So whether you're searching for the right information, whether you've got some copy and you want to sort of change it around and rapidly look at different sort of drafts, if you're analyzing data, if you're summarizing documents, doing calculations, it's the sort of tasks that you maybe previously would have given an assistant, and it might take a few hours or a couple of days to come back to you for your review, getting that done really quickly now. Maybe not immediately trusting the answer and accepting it, but getting the AI tool to do the initial job, so then you can check and then sort of refine. Like, yeah, up in that sort of like 50 to 70% on those sort of tasks you can see in that chart. And then in terms of the tools, we have sort of ChatGPT currently leading the way, 86%, and then sort of dropping down through things like Copilot, Gemini, Claude, etc. It's a bit like when the internet first started and you saw the different web browsers that were sort of like Internet Explorer and Chrome and Safari and things. There's a big race at the moment from the technology solutions in terms of who can accelerate the fastest on artificial intelligence. And then on the right-hand side there, how do you expect AI to impact your work over the next 2 or 3 years? I think 66% saying significant change. It's like, that's really, and then nearly 1 in 4 saying it's actually going to be a transformative change to day-to-day work. So it's going to be an interesting next 2 or 3 years seeing where AI takes us. Other initiatives in technology that we're seeing and we asked about digital product passports. And that's something that's mentioned explicitly in the EU Construction Product Regulations 2024. So in simple terms, taking the concept of things like CE marking, which has the key technical characteristics of a particular product printed as a label on the physical thing, moving that forward, both in terms of technology and scope of content, to something like a QR code or an RFID on the physical item, which takes you online to give you the technical characteristics of that product and sustainability information of that product and how to safely install and operate and deal with it at its end of life. You've got about half of the industry sort of keeping an eye on this and aware of it. I guess the key there is EU construction product regulations. What will that mean for United Kingdom? I guess for manufacturers, if you're delivering products into different countries, across Europe, you've got to be aware of it. But also, even if you're just working in the UK, we might follow this. There was that green paper from UK Gov, all stuff worth looking at, hyperlinks in the report. Green paper first half of this year from UK government saying, what do you think about how we should do these things? And it might be the case that we continue to follow this as well. Those people that are aware of digital product passports, it's like almost universal support. 42% strongly supporting this initiative, and another 42%-ish saying we sort of somewhat support it. So definitely something to watch in terms of digital product passports. Fourth theme, looking at the report, is like how's digital technologies at the moment helping you in terms of sustainable outcomes on projects. And in the last 12 months, a lot of the sort of building designers, contractors out there using digital technologies to help with things like the energy demand, water demand of the buildings, embodied carbon up there, whole life cycle analysis, waste, reuse of items at the end of life, etc. So it's, I guess, using the information that you're putting into your 3D models, your specification, even your documents, and extracting that to get data on the sustainable outcomes, whether it's water, carbon, etc. That seems to be happening now as well. So we've had a little look at the industry findings, highlighted that sort of rise of AI. I'd quite like to look at some of those examples now. So I'm going to do some sort of demonstrations. So the first AI example here, I'm going to try and do a live example with ChatGPT. So chatgpt.com, I've got the version 5, and I've uploaded the NBS Digital Construction Report 2025. So this workflow I'd like to demonstrate is, look, here's a document. It's a number of pages. I'd like you to tell me what's really important in this document so I can jump to the bits that are relevant to me. So summarizing a document with evidence and then going back and forward, sort of querying it. So I'm going to say, like, as an architect, what are the 5 most important things I need to know from this report? And I guess that's the sort of thing that you maybe would give to somebody junior and say, look, it's a presentation in a couple of days' time. I want you to come back and tell me what I need to know from this particular publication. Could be a publication on any topic. I've given the context of I'm an architect, and it comes now and says, look, number 1 is the maturity of, like, there's an argument to say you could have just watched, you could have done this with ChatGPT rather than listen to my slide deck here, but that's pretty much the same sort of summary I gave at the start here. So this is what it's found. It cross-references exactly whereabouts it's in, and then gives it a why that's important. Why is ChatGPT pulled that key point out as being important to architects? We've got some of the key stats there, the most popular tools, why it matters. Talked a little bit about cloud computing. It's pulled out the information on sustainability, and then a little bit about skills there at the end with a nice little table summarizing that. So if I wanted to go a little bit sort of further in there, I could then follow up with a question. So maybe I'm really interested in the AI thing. I could say, look, tell me what the main AI tools being used are and for what purposes in a year. Like, it's not doing the job for me, but it's making my job easier because I'm going back and forward. It's pulling the exact data out here. And if I wanted to just be 100% sure, you can go and reference. I could say, like, exactly what page is that on. But I think if I'd shown this to myself from 5 years ago when I was watching this, having that sort of just natural language conversation is really impressive. It's something that I wouldn't have thought would have been possible 4 or 5 5 years ago. And maybe just another question now. So say if I was a manufacturer, I'm hoping that this is going to give a slightly different angle. So I'm a manufacturer now. What are the key 5 points from the document? It's talking about like putting your products into the market. It's talking about, so it's a different answer based on who the role is. I think it's talking about BIM objects. It's talking about product. Exactly the same question. Just the first question was from a point of view of an architect. The second one was from a point of view of a manufacturer. Yeah, so it's really good. And then again, if you want to ask a follow-up, so maybe using the wider web, tell me more about, I mean, I'm not going to put the full words, and I'm just going to say DPP, digital product passports. And now I'm sort of merging together what's in the PDF that I uploaded with what ChatGPT already knows from the web. And you can see there, it's actually sort of referencing its sources here. So you can see the external sources it's pulled together that I can go and check, and all the way down to a little timeline here, seeing which manufactured products are going to come first and what the sort of timeline is until they hope full coverage will be there across EU. Manufacturers have 18 months to do this, and again, maybe don't take everything with AI, and from my experience, it's been 100% true, but use it as an assistant to pull the information together, query it, go and look at the sources. But it's pretty impressive. So we looked at that first example there, which was sort of taking a, I don't know, 50-page, 100-page, 200-page report and quickly getting to the information that's important to myself. The second example here, we're going to have maybe just a bit more fun. And what I've got here is just a JPEG with 4 products. We've got wood door sets, some sort of floor slab, some sort of fastener, some sort of heat pump. And what I'm going to do here is just give the JPEG this image, and it could be a picture of items in the building or a picture of library objects, products like this. I'm also going to give it a well-structured file of classifications using Excel and say, please use your intelligence to extract. I sort of press play as we're talking. This is a pre-recorded video I did, but I've got an Excel file with lots of unit class classifications. I've got an image with 4 product images in, and saying, please select the closest matching classification based on your knowledge using the exact strings from the Excel file for the however many. I didn't say there's 4 products in the image. I said for the products in the image. So what the ChatGPT is going to look at that image now, try to determine, are there any construction products in that picture? And then for every product it finds, using its knowledge, try and find the best matched classification from the second data source I uploaded, which is the list of classifications. And it takes a little while, and then it recognizes. So here's the classification. I found 1, 2, 3, 4 products, and it's classified them so perfectly from the list of hundreds of classifications I uploaded. It's recognized the first one's a wood door set. The second one's natural stone flags. The third one's coach screws. The fourth one is an air-to-water heat pump. Now that middle column there, I think is really important for tasks like this, because this is something we're sort of like trying to build into our internal processes at NBS to get a level of confidence. So clearly you're saving time, but you don't save time by having incorrect information. So I'd maybe want to go and double check this one at 70%. And once you train the model, whatever your workflow is, you can see where there's a high degree of confidence, where maybe there's not such a high one, and have that sort of human and machine working together to get rid of the monotonous tasks, and then use the human expertise to go in and say, okay, maybe their PVC tiles, or maybe they're more of a carpet tiles, etc., not natural stone flags, and I do that sort of double check. But yeah, pulling structured data there from an image, which could have one to many products on, is a pretty cool little example. Second one here is going to a PDF, I guess a bit like we did with the digital construction report, but in this case, asking for very specific information for it. So what's really nice about this example, this is an environmental product declaration, which has all of the information in as defined in that particular European standard 15804. So inside that standard, it will define things like there must be a declared unit, there must be a manufacturer address, there must be global warming potential in carbon equivalent in a table, etc. Each provider of EPDs may lay it out that differently in different PDFs. So having the AI to go and look at semi-structured data and make it structured, I think is a really nice sort of use case to look at. So if we have a little look at this example, we let it play. It's a EPD from the manufacturer to open more concrete slabs or what have you. You can see written into the text in an unstructured form, it says there's 1 meter squared of paving is the declared unit. In terms of the global warming total, it's 5.07 times 10 to the power of 1. In terms of assumptions on transport, it's saying that we're assuming the construction sites in Birmingham, the factory's definitely in Northern Ireland, it's going to be a combination of road and so there's loads of great information here. It's just laid out to look pretty in a PDF as opposed to structured data a computer can read, I guess, until AI came along. Because now I'm taking that semi-structured information that's laid out really nicely in a lovely looking PDF into data that could just sit in a database. And you can imagine putting this process away on 1,000 PDFs, you're going to build up a really nice set of data. So it's got the manufacturer name correct, it's got the postcode, it's got the different variations of the product, 1 meter squared. A1, A3 has got rid of the scientific notation of 10 to the power of 2 or what have you, 10 to the power of 1. And it's got the transport split down by road C. And there's the manufacturer plant location with a postcode as well. In the last example I'd like to look at is combining well-structured data from a number of sources online and pulling it together as a single view. And what I could do here in this example is say, look, tell me about the elderly burgundy brick from Ibstock and just send it away at the internet to have a look at information. But instead, I'm going to send it to the unique ID representing this brick from its barcode. So you might have seen that we've announced a partnership with GS1, who do European asset numbers, or GTINs as they're now called, which is the coding system used in the barcode system. So I'm going to ask AI to tell me what you know about this particular product from the web, but just give it its barcode, just like a computer readable code that could be in a QR code, could be in an RFID code. So if we have a little look at NBS sources product page for this Ibstock brick, you'll see it's got the little barcode there, GTIN, Global Trade Identification Number. So it's just the code that's trapped in a barcode. So I say to ChatGPT this time, for the construction product, I'm not going to tell you what it is. With that GTIN, tell me the manufacturer product, key spec properties, and things like distribution properties, like what's the pack size or the weight or whatever you can find. Like surprise me. And it goes away and it's got the manufacturer name, it's got the product name, it's got the key spec properties, and then a number of distribution properties there as well. And against every single one of those properties, it references where on the web it's pulled it from. So if you want to cross-check, it really is 16 megapascals or T2 R1 tolerance. You can just go on there, click that and see where that came from. And I think that's like what we're looking at there is, again, what are the future possibilities of this, using unique IDs to connect lots of information together. So NBS Digital Construction Report, available to download now. You've got the download link at the bottom left, but that'll also be in your email. And hopefully you've had a little look at what the trends are today. recognize that AI is one of the biggest trends, but then try to sort of shine a light on some really useful use cases using AI in its most accessible form, which is like ChatGPT or Google Gemini or what have you. So now what we're going to do is hand across to Emmy from SideRise, who are sponsoring this webinar. And Emmy's going to say a little bit about what SideRise are doing from a sort of digital point of view.
Thanks, Stephen. Cheers for that. And thanks to NBS for inviting me to share a quick piece on how we're approaching digital innovation from a manufacturer's perspective. So the survey results NBS shared give a great overview of current trends in digital tools and building information. So what I'd like to do today is talk a bit about how we're adapting as a manufacturer to support this shift, making sure our tools, data and resources are aligned with what specifiers and the wider industry need. So a little bit about me. I'm Emmy Panagopoulos and I work for SideRise Group. So before joining SideRise Group, I worked in construction product manufacturing, product testing and facade consultancy, so which eventually led me to where I am now. So I've been with SideRise for just over 2 years, working across the business in a technical specification role, supporting projects and helping drive innovation in how we present and deliver technical information. So for those of you who aren't too familiar with SideRise Group, SideRise is a global expert in passive fire protection solutions for the building envelope, which has been in existence for over 50 years. So we operate across the UK, Europe, Middle East, India, Asia, Pacific, and the US. We manufacture and supply a large range of passive fire protection solutions for the building envelope. We supply acoustic and thermal products for facade and building interiors, and we specialise in the manufacture of tested and third-party certified stone wall, cavity barriers and fire stops that are used in horizontal and vertical orientation to provide compartmentation and resist the spread of fire. So these are used in many different applications, such as external masonry, rain screen facades, curtain walling and sealed systems such as precast and composite panel as shown on screen there. So as we all know, digital tools are becoming increasingly important in the construction industry for a number of reasons. So they help ensure compliance and maintain accurate data records, promote accountability and allow decisions to be tracked more effectively. So they also improve project management, increase transparency and trust amongst stakeholders and encourage collaborative working across the supply chain. So as the industry faces growing regulation complexity and with the implementation of the Building Safety Act, as we all know, there's a rising demand for traceability and for real-time information. So digitalisation is helping us meet these challenges. So ultimately it's transforming how we work by making processes more efficient, connected and reliable. So SideRise offer a wide range of digital tools and services that provide support prior to project start, throughout design and construction stages, all the way through to completion and handover. So on screen here shows a few that include data easily accessible through NBS, REBA CPD content, SideRise Learning Academy portal, our SideRise Tech Hub website, NBS cloud-based collaborative specifications, BIM models, standard detailed drawings, digital spec packs, digital site inspections and our inspection app, BSI identify QR codes and data capture through our CRM and completion packs. So whilst we don't have time to cover everything today, NBS has asked me to briefly touch on a few key areas. So these include providing reliable, up-to-date information, digital learning and competence materials, and delivering structured, robust product data through specification mediums. So firstly, let's take a look at our SideRise specification packs, which were rolled out earlier this year. So these information packs are based on application and they offer easy to access, reliable and up-to-date valued formats of data. So with versions available for curtain wall, masonry, ring screen and precast and sealed architectural wall systems, each pack concisely summarises all the relevant product information for the designated application. So these packs provide a packaged, up-to-date digital resource with valued formats of data, including live links to key product information. So we decided to make the packs application specific to really help our customers understand where the product should be utilised and what other products are available in the range and how they're used together. So offering a systemised approach. So just like a lot of manufacturers, our products have their own references, so offering information in a way that allows customers to easily identify what products they need for a given application. So we'll take a look at one of the packs as an example. So we'll take a look at the range screen pack. So the specification pack provides quick and convenient access to tools and information sources. So this is including technical data sheets, third-party certification, standard detailed drawings, EPDs, BIM objects, specification clauses through NBS, and it also demonstrates which products have CCPI assessments. So additionally, by including links to the latest information, users can be assured that they're working with the most up-to-date information and certification. This reduces the risk of holding outdated material. So all of our specification pack information is linked directly into our SideRise PIM system, so our product information management system. We utilise permalink, so the information remains live, so it's always kept up to date. And then we then maintain the version control of the documents within our PIM as well. So we've recently developed path to compliance diagrams that are included into each of the spec packs through live link buttons. So the compliance paths give an outline of how the products have been tested and how they meet the relevant statutory requirements. So this is aimed to assist with all of our customers, including those who are going through Gateway 2 submissions. So within the specification packs through our websites and through the NBS and REBA websites, CPD material can be sourced. So in the last year, we've developed 4 new pieces of REBA approved CPD material. So as a company, we're really proud of that we're developing this educational material. So this includes REBA approved CPDs for all of our core products, so used in rain screen, masonry, and to the rear of curtain wall. So as a company, we want to encourage early manufacturer engagement, share knowledge, and ultimately promote learning. We want to help our customers enhance their understanding of passive fire protection in the building envelope. So in our new REBA CPD, we cover product terminology, testing standards, certification detailing, and additional services that bridge the gap between design and as-built performance. So we're listening to our customers in terms of additional information they want included in a CPD, so such as information on the Building Safety Act and what product manufacturers can do to help contribute to the golden thread of information. So in addition to more helpful and relevant content, the slides offer more of a visual approach in terms of videos and moving elements to emphasise important takeaways. So as we all know, competency is of major importance in the industry, and therefore we've looked to include and incorporate QR mini quizzes, which are based through QR codes into the CPDs for viewers to demonstrate their knowledge and to assist them in identifying where they may need further development. So we always do promote face-to-face CPDs. However, we understand that the industry need is changing and people want CPDs in their own time and when it's convenient for them. So we're delivering CPDs in different ways using digital methods to suit the needs of our customers in the form of live webinars, on-demand learning now through our new SideRise online learning portal. So the new SideRise online learning portal is completely free to use and it offers CPD content on demand. So it gives users flexibility to learn at their own pace. So with digital formats of learning modules and live on-demand webinars, the SideRise learning portal has been really well received by all of our customers. In terms of digitalisation aiding the delivery of structured, robust product data through specification mediums, so in addition to specification clauses and detailed drawings. BIM is another well-known digital specification element that can contribute to the golden thread of information and is definitely growing day by day in our industry. So as we all know, BIM can offer shareable data across design, construction and through to operation. So manufacturers offering digital resources such as BIM models and detailed drawings can really streamline the integration of products into design. And we understand this is growing in terms of our customer needs. So SideRise BIM models have been authored by NBS and have been developed for all of our core product ranges. So these are interoperable. So that basically means they're supplied in Revit and IFC file types. And the models have been formatted in a way that there's data behind them and they're of a 3D representation of the product. So NBS were chosen to author the models in order to deliver and manage compliant information within the ISO 19650 framework. So we adopt an industry standard for quality, efficient, generic objects with core property sets that include a consistent approach to classification, standard naming conventions, and standardized approaches to the level of information. So the layered objects that we have currently defined as LOD 300 by NBS, with future plans for us to reach LOD 350. So as a manufacturer, we're committed to continual improvement within the construction industry and recognise the need for a more collaborative approach. And we have bigger plans for 2026 to develop these models. In addition to current tools, I know Stephen had raised the point of AI implementation. So SideRise are using AI for a lot of internal processes, especially when it comes to workflow automation and removing repetitive manual tasks. So at SideRise, AI is helping us work smarter. So it speeds up the process and frees up our team to focus on more valuable tasks. One great example is that we've automated how projects and opportunities move between Salesforce and our ERP system, so enterprise resource planning. So this cuts the workload for our customer services team by 50% during this process. So sales orders and quotes also flow back into Salesforce, so our commercial team get full visibility without jumping between systems. And that's just one of over 10 automation projects making a real impact across the business at SideRise. So there's a lot of change in the industry in terms of digitalization and implementation of new technologies. So ultimately, we want to offer easy to access, reliable, up-to-date and educational information to our customers through different digital mediums. We want to provide data-rich, standardized digital tools to aid collaboration and that contribute to the golden thread of information. We want to provide services that bridge design and build, enhance communication and deliver traceability. And we want to develop our internal processes and make our customers' lives easier, utilising new tools and technologies. Our ultimate goal is to work with others in the industry to share knowledge and to create safer and more comfortable buildings. So thank you so much for your time, and thanks again to NBS for allowing me to give the short presentation. And Stephen, I'm looking forward to any questions you may have for me. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks very much. Fascinating presentation, Emmy. There was a little stat of your own there. I think was it 56% of the CPD you deliver now is online, 44% in person. What do you see as the pros and cons of, I guess, both delivery methods?
So with those stats are based upon what customers request of us. So as you can see on those stats there, it's pretty much a close equal split, but slightly more people do request online CPDs. I think obviously pre-COVID, these in-person CPDs were more the norm, but we have seen a rise in demand for online CPDs since due to hybrid and remote working. So we always want to give our customers choice ultimately as a manufacturer, and I think having that choice available as a customer is key. I think the online CPDs do offer flexibility, and we understand that people with their schedules now, it's a very busy kind of day to day. So the online does allow then for people to kind of, look at this educational material in their own time and at their own pace. I think my personal opinion would always be that, the face-to-face would be preferable. And I think even in terms of, that relationship building between, say, the specifier and the manufacturer is key. And I think there's always that element that, if you're watching more of a digital piece, there's always that chance that, you can have those Teams messages pop up in the corner and you might be distracted. But I think when you are in a room with people, it is a bit more of a kind of a focus, and it can be a lot more educational. And I think there's always that opportunity as well to have discussions around what is being presented. So if there's anything, say, somebody is unsure about, there's always that chance to ask questions in the room. And from our perspective as a manufacturer, we get so much out of the face-to-face. So in terms of, what did you find engaging? What can we improve on? What else would you like to see within the material? So I think there's that almost that full circle of the feedback loop to us as well, which is really important. But we do understand that, some people's preference might be online, some people's might be face-to-face, and we want to be able to offer both, and that's what we've done.
Yeah, no, I think we found the same at NBS as well. Like before COVID, almost everything was face to face, but now we can mix face to face things like the construction leaders summit that we did in London the other week, where you're maybe making a better connection and meeting people with webinars like this. I guess
as well, with like the on-demand element, there is the key benefits as well, because you can pause and you can think about things and you can replay it. So there's pros to both. There's definitely pros to both.
Yeah, and maybe changing subject a little bit now. You were talking about like well-structured product information. Can you talk us through your vision of sort of having your single source of truth in a sort of payment product information management system, but then that powering all the different sort of places that it's looked at?
Yeah, so this has been it's been massive for us, and I think it's something that I'm really proud of, and our internal team is really proud of. So we implemented this PIM system. I think it was back last year, maybe June time, and it is exactly the way you've put it there. It is a single source of truth, and it's central to how we manage and share information. So it's basically a central resource for all information, but then we tie all of our kind of literature back into this central system. And it's such a better way of working, especially for traceability, making sure the information is reliable and up to date, because it pretty much enforces that if the information is updated in this central reservation, it's updated everywhere else. So it's just a smarter way of working. And I think, going back years ago, for a lot of companies, if you update, information in one particular file, and then you've kind of got to follow that through into lots of different elements of literature, which is time consuming, and there's always a risk of something being outdated. So working in this way, it's absolutely great. And then we feed those links into lots of other elements of information. So say looking at the specification packs, it's all based on links, which feeds into that PIM. And the feedback that we've had from customers is great, because they're always taken to that newest form of information. So it's almost like, I think for anyone who is, a former specifier and they've held this information and they think, is it still valid? Is it still up to date? They know with these links, they're always being drawn back into the most up-to-date info.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And in terms of your specification information in Chorus stroke source, it's not just a case of here are the technical properties, but I've noticed you've got application guidance, variants, technical guidance, the last time the information was verified, certificate. Can you say a little bit about how you handle the specification in the NBS platforms?
Yeah, of course. So I think this is something, again, that we're really proud of, is just the fact that we haven't just ended in the kind of basic information, but we do try and go above and beyond in terms of the additional kind of physical and functional properties. So we enter in, variant information where we can, any guidance information. And I think this is something as a manufacturer, like we are really, really proud of, because we want to go that extra step to give our specifiers more and more. And I think, going forward, in the next kind of year's time, this is something we want to improve on further. So what we're actively doing as a company, we're going out and we're speaking to specifiers and we're saying, are you using NBS source? Are you using NBS course? What else would you like to see in that guidance? What else can we give to you? So we're almost, as a business, we're not just saying, let's go ahead and do this. We're almost basing it around a business case and ultimately what our customers want to see. So that could be, say, additional information in terms of sizing that we manufacture. It could be additional information in terms of, say, testing standards as well. So we want to be able to give that additional information that they actually want.
Yeah. And if I was talking to a manufacturer 4 or 5 years ago, they'd be saying, like, I put a huge amount of work into supporting specifiers, giving the right information, and then on lots of projects, I'm substituted out for a cheaper alternative. Do you find in the new building safety regime, when you're tracking projects, is that happening less now? Are you finding in terms of that percentage you're getting substituted?
I would say it's definitely happening a lot less. So I'd say, going back a couple of years ago, before the Building Safety Act was implemented, we were seeing that we were getting specified on some projects, even like stage 5. So we can see now that, prior to that Gateway 2 process, we're getting specified in, say, stage 3, stage 4 in the technical design kind of remit. But what we are seeing is that the industry has, realised that these passive fire protection products are safety critical elements. So making sure that that specification is correct from the start is vital. And I think it's something that we really kind of promote as a manufacturer, is that, we want to work with you very early on to get this right. So to look at, the applications, the void widths, the fire performance requirements, the ventilation and drainage requirements, so that, the specification is, correct early stages and it's not an afterthought. It's something that is critical, is safety and life critical. So it needs to be thought of early on. And I think, the industry has definitely accepted that, it's taking it on board. And we're seeing a lot of customers working closely with us now from the early stages of a project and through all the way through design into, build and through to completion and handover. And we're here to support our customers throughout that whole process.
Yeah, so I guess to move away from design and build at the same time to design and build once you've got that prescriptive specification, sort of, yeah.
That design stage is, is crucial now, isn't it? And especially for, products like ours, like the cavity barriers and fire stops, because, generally they are at the junctions. So, the floor slab areas, those compartment lines where you are going to have, additional components. There's going to be, complex geometries. There's going to be interfaces. So I think working with the manufacturers early on is critical.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Emmy. I really enjoyed the presentation. It's been good just picking up 4 or 5 points there afterwards. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Stephen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining today, looking at our Digital Construction Report 2025 and also hearing from a real live example of how SideRise are supporting their customers digitally. In terms of what we've seen today from the report, the maturity of BIM over the last 15 years, the rise of AI, and then hopefully some nice examples showing how AI can be there as a digital assistant that's not making the decisions for you, but is helping you make good decisions quicker. And just to finish off by saying, yeah, please download the report. The link will be in the follow-up email. And anyone wanting more information about NBS in general, please check out our website. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.